Good morning. Far, far, far too early good morning for a Sunday, but I basically booked a really early train to Edinburgh from London because it was the cheapest one. So I'm about to head off to Edinburgh, but it's also the first day of the Femme Fantail Readathon, which this is the vlog for. Words. So I wanted to just check in before I got on the train because I probably won't really be able to speak on the train because there'll be lots of other people around and I'm in the quiet coach because that's what I need. But I do plan on both reading some of my fantasy on the train and also running some reading sprints. So there's some reading sprints organised for 10 and 12, well 10 a.m. 12, or is it 9 a.m? Oh, I can't remember. I've written it down somewhere anyway. There's reading sprints for this morning whilst I'm on the train. And I'm going to be running them because Jill is not available this morning. She is away this weekend, so she's not available until this evening when we'll be running our reading sprints together, and that'll be super nice. But yeah, I just plan on sort of reading, drinking lots of coffee and chilling on the train, and then obviously I'm going to be in Edinburgh for the rest of the Readathon, which will be super nice because then I am with my co-host Jill and hopefully I'll get lots and lots of reading done. But yeah, I've gotten into the habit of these Readathon vlogs. I really enjoy filming them and I really enjoy sharing them with you, and I'm really looking forward to this Readathon because yeah, it was so much fun last time. But yeah, I'm gonna go now because articulation is just not my thing this morning. Hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a few minutes' time the service will arrive into Berwick. Please take all personal items with you, mind the gap when leaving this train. Berwick upon Tweed in a few minutes' time.
So, wasn't that great at vlogging yesterday. No excuses, I just didn't vlog much, but I was just doing my makeup whilst watching Becca from Becca and the Books vlogging and realised I was meant to be filming a reading vlog, so why not chat to you about some books while I finish doing my makeup. So I'm in Edinburgh, as you can tell. My bedroom has kind of just become a storage unit at this point, so that's what you're getting in the background. And I have done a little bit of work already this morning because, you know, still got stuff to do while I'm here, to be honest. It's not like a entire holiday. I am taking time off, but I still have some work to do. So I spent a couple hours working this morning and now I'm getting ready for the day because I am meeting my friend Jill after she finishes her work at 4. So I think I've already mentioned Jill is my co-host for this readathon, and I will hopefully remember to ask her to also update you on her reading so we can also hear what she's been getting up to. But as you saw on the train, I am reading Turning the Storm by Naomi Kritzer, which is the second in a queer fantasy duology, so also the final book. And I really enjoyed book 1. I actually read it during the last Femme Fantail Readathon, so I thought it would be quite timely to read the sequel during the second Readathon. However, not only did I not vlog much yesterday, I didn't actually get that much reading done. I'm only about 40 pages in, I mean, which is fine, but it's not amazing either. During the evening reading sprints though, I did manage to read an entire book because it was a 70-page graphic novel, which was The Tea Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill. So I mentioned recently that I wanted to pick that one up because it was a cute middle grade graphic novel about little dragons, which is, you know, so many things that I like. And sorry, I'm sort of kind of using the camera as a mirror as well as this little compact, so probably not getting a lot of eye contact. And then somebody mentioned that it was actually originally a web comic, so I could read it on the author's website, and I decided to do that just because that was easier and cheaper for me. And I loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. It was so cute. I just loved it so much. I really liked Aquacorn Cove, also by Katie O'Neill, but Tea Dragon Society was just like a whole other kettle of fish. I loved it. Now I need the sequel because it's just so cute. The illustrations are beautiful, all of the sentiments expressed are beautiful, all of the magic in it is beautiful. So there's these little dragons that are like miniature that grow plants from their heads that are the same kind of plants that you would pick tea leaves from. So there's a jasmine tea dragon, there's a chamomile tea dragon, and when you drink their tea you can see like memories and like good times and just like nice images. So they also have these magical properties, and I loved it, if I haven't said that already. So I did manage to read that during the reading sprints, which was good, but only about 40 pages into Turning the Storm. I am also listening to an audiobook that I'd started before the Readathon, which is Seer of Seven Waters by Juliet Marillier, and this is the fifth book in her Seven Waters series, and it's my least favourite of the series so far, unfortunately. And yeah, it's a bit of a shame. So I am debating starting another audiobook, because I would really like to just like listen to a whole audiobook as part of the Readathon, even though that is female authored fantasy, one that I'm going to love. And I'm thinking of listening to Seas of Crimson Silk by Emma Hamm. So I'm going to walk to the town to meet Jill later, which is a good hefty walk, but you know, I feel like I need the movement. So I think I'll listen to my audiobook when I'm walking into town, and listen to that, and that will be sort of like a third book started during the Readathon, and hopefully I will manage to read more of this evening. But like I said, hopefully I'll also manage to get Jill to update you on her reading. I recently made my first ever Glossier purchase, which included this brow pen to fill in just these tiny gaps at the front of my eyebrows, to be honest, otherwise they're pretty full, and I love it. Perfect colour, it's the shade brown and it's really ashy. And I also got I'm not very good at using it, but it works, it evens them out. I also got their mascara. Oh my god, I give up. I've never managed to do it before. This is what happens when you try to talk and apply makeup at the same time. Did that come off? Yeah, okay. Yeah, fine, whatever. I also got their mascara, which I also really like, so I am joining the masses in my enjoyment of Glossier, but I'll go finish putting on my makeup and catch up with you once I've done some more reading. So I just thought I would show you my outfit as well whilst I was at it, because this is all thrifted. This blouse, which is a little bit too big for me, but if I tie up I think has like a really nice fit, as well as this skirt. Like, I think the whole thing has a bit of like a 1950s style to it, although a bit of a see-through for the 1950s. But I just love this outfit. It's one of my favourite thrifted outfits at the moment, and it just goes to show what awesome stuff you can find in a charity shop without sort of contributing to the impact on the environment that fast fashion has, and still not spending a lot of money, because actual sustainable fashion brands are often quite expensive, but I just buy a lot of things second hand, and I really like them. This does need an iron, but yeah, love this outfit. Hi Joe.
Hi.
Tell us about what you're reading. I
am reading The Queen of Iflaria?
Yeah, Flaria. I don't know.
By
Effie Calvin. Effie Calvin.
By Effie Calvin, sorry. Sorry, Effie. And I'm only 3 chapters away from the end now. I blitzed most of it yesterday. It's a very short book, but I got to midnight and I was up at 6 today, so I couldn't keep going. I did do through the awful thing of reading the last page, even though I've not finished the book, but I couldn't resist.
Yeah, I do that too.
It's really good. At first, I found it quite hard to get into because of the world building. I was focusing too much on these really small details that didn't really matter. But once I got a few chapters in, the plot kicked off, and I'm really liking it.
Good.
And it's queer, which is brilliant. Something different.
And now what are we going to do?
Bye bye!
So I'm in my dobby top, as you can see, about to go to bed and read my book. But I did pick up 3 books whilst I was out with Jill, and I figured I would share them with you. So the first one I got in the buy one get one half price deal in Waterson's, where Jill got the other book that was in the deal. And this one is All the Bad Apples by Moira Fowley Doyle. Now I initially picked this up because that cover, my friends, wowzers. But I've also heard incredible things about this author. I've not heard much about this book in particular because it's her new one out, but I know that people love her like YA kind of magic realism stories, so I thought that I would pick this one up since it's basically beautiful and I hear really good things and it sounds really interesting. And I could also read it for this readathon. In fact, I could read all 3 of these books for the readathon. The next one is The House of Shattered Wings by Aliette de Bodard. I read a novella by this author earlier this year and adored it. It was sci-fi, this is fantasy, and it's the first in a trilogy and obviously much chunkier than a novella, so I think it will be exciting to read something like just fuller than a novella by this author. It's set in a sort of alternative magical Paris where like magic roams free. The sort of city has been like semi-destroyed since the Great Magician's War, and the different factions are sort of fighting for dominion. And then we have one that I have constantly picked up and almost bought 1,000,000 times and finally did it. This is The Thinking Woman's Guide to Real Magic by Emily Croy Barker. This one is a fantasy novel but with like a contemporary spin. It's about a woman living in the contemporary world with pretty mundane problems like a mouse in her kitchen, her friend's wedding coming up, an academic career that has stalled. I feel like I can sympathise with her. And she ends up in a magical world. So yeah, I just thought it sounded intriguing. I also had £5 worth of points on my Blackwell's card as well, which we went to after Waterston's. So I was able to get that off of these 2 books. But yeah, treat yourself and all that, and they all fit in very well with the theme of this readathon. So yeah, that's my little haul. Oh my goodness, I am so excited to get my hair cut tomorrow. This is what's happening today. I'm about to go to the dentist. It's a crazy wild day, but I thought I'd update you on my reading. Last night I got to around page 80 in the book by Naomi Kritzer that I'm reading, that I've showed you a few clips of, but things are really kind of like picking up. Like a lot of what had happened so far was sort of set up and set up from the previous book and sort of getting us into what is going to be the main plot of this book, and now I'm like super into it and super excited to see what happens next for our main character, because yeah, things have just really picked up, so I think I'm going to read it a lot quicker, and I think Jill and I are going to do some reading sprints tonight. I did start reading Seas of Crimson Silk by Emma Hamm, listening to the audiobook, and it was really interesting. I listened to a couple of chapters on my walk yesterday, but it also seems quite intense, like lots of like warring kingdoms and battles and politics. And the other book I'm reading is also quite an intense fantasy world with lots of sort of like politics and war. And I just think it's too much to read them alongside each other. So instead I've started listening to Red Ropes of Fate by K.M. Shea, which is, well, at least I'm assuming it's more of like a light-hearted, like fun with a bit of political intrigue, but predominantly romance set in a sort of period fantasy world between an elf and a human. And it just seems lighter, basically, is what I'm trying to say, and more what I'm in the mood for to go alongside my other book. Plus it's shorter, so it would mean that I can hopefully squeeze more into the readathon in general. So I'm listening to that, and hopefully we'll get through a chunk of it today as well. But yeah, like I said, I'm off to the dentist, then I'm going to come home, do some work, hopefully have a nice bath tonight with a bath bomb, read my book, make some progress, all of that fun stuff. in a good mood this morning. Actually, I might be talking a little bit funny because I just went to the dentist for the second time this week, and long story short, I got a filling, so my mouth's still numb. On the positive side, yesterday I got my hair done, and I'm very pleased with how that came out, but yeah, I'm not having a good morning. Second trip to the dentist this week, and just allow me to complain here, you may skip if you want, but if you're not aware, about 2 years ago, my dad got diagnosed with terminal cancer, and he then sort of lived with that for about 6 months, in which like my mum and I were caring for him for that period. It was just like a very intense period, and obviously it was horrible, and then it was horrible when he passed away, and that's been like just over a year and a half now. And just like one of the things I feel like since he passed away that I have experienced is so much dental problems caused in part by my grief. And I feel like this is something like people just don't talk about. It's like, not only does grief like mess with your head, it messes with your body. What I mean by that is like ever since my dad got ill / passed away, I have started really badly grinding my teeth and clenching my jaw in my sleep, which is something that I never really did before. I mean, I do it during the day a bit as well, but if you do it during the day, you can pull yourself up on it and relax your jaw. But during my sleep, I was grinding my teeth really, really badly. So like a few months ago, I had to get a brace for nighttime. So like a mouth guard, like a little, looks a bit like a plastic retainer. Hundreds of pounds it cost to get this made, like molded to your mouth. Now I sleep with that every night, and that's very good and that's very helpful. But because I was grinding my teeth so badly, a few fillings I'd had since I was a teenager, because when I was a teenager I didn't take care of my teeth properly, had been really badly damaged. So these fillings I already had been damaged by the grinding I'd been doing in my sleep, and I had like damaged them so badly that they needed replaced, and that is like what's been going on. So a wee while ago I had one replaced. I got one replaced today. It's just been sort of like squeezing in here and there when like time suits and when I can afford it, because it's so freaking expensive. Dentistry is not cheap, and it's just like it's just eye roll worthy, just like the added financial burden and like burden on like my dental health that like has been caused by grief, which is obviously not the worst part of it, but it's just like the side effect. I feel like it's like a physical manifestation of just how horrendous it is. So I'm just in a bad mood this morning because it's just not what I want to be doing with my day. And now my mouth is numb, and it just like is expensive, and it just makes me mad. Dentistry should be fully on the NHS. Dental hygiene and health is important. Anyway, there we go. There's my little rant over what have I been reading. I didn't really vlog yesterday, but I did yesterday when I was in the hairdressers finish listening to the audiobook of K.M. Shea's book Red Rope of Fate. I finished listening to it whilst the bleach was sitting in my hair, and I was just like sitting there staring at myself in a mirror listening to this audiobook, and it was super cute. Like it was very much just like a little quite twee fantasy romance. I feel like it's very similar to the sort of fantasy of manners genre if you're into that. It's not set in a period setting in our world. It's set in like a magical kingdom, but it just very much reminded me of like a period novel but with like fantasy elements, because it is about a relationship between a human and an elf who've been bonded, not in like a romantic sense, but because in the royal families in this world, elves and humans are bonded to help create better relationships between the two races and help them communicate through this magical ceremony, because they virtually cannot speak each other's languages. It's just like so difficult for them to learn that the people that do know some Elvish are like trained translators who've dedicated their lives to it, and even then can only communicate certain things. Like that's just part of the fantasy backdrop. So they do these bonding ceremonies, and basically our elf and human fall in love with one another, and it's just very cute, and I just really enjoyed it. It was kind of what I wanted, something light and cute compared to my other book, which you know I'm reading, which is by Naomi Kritzer, and I'm really enjoying that book, but it just feels like more intense, more political intrigue, and I'm now about halfway through that. I'm really enjoying it, but I kind of forgot, when I read the first book, I read it quite slowly. It's just one of those book series that I don't find myself reading really quickly. I don't know if it's also just because there's a lot of text packed onto a page, but it's a slow read, and I do find that as certain books, you just read slower than others, and it doesn't mean you're enjoying them less. That's just the pace that works for that book. But I am really enjoying it. I just think it might take me to the end of this week to read, so I'm going to hopefully fit in some other things between it. I am going to try and finish the audiobook of Seer of Seven Waters, which is the Juliet Marillier that I'm listening to, that I'd started before the readathon I mentioned earlier in this vlog. Still not my favourite, but I would like to finish it because just because this one's not as great as the others, in my opinion, doesn't mean I don't want to finish the series, and there's one more book in it. So I would like to finish this week, and then I also got approved for a review e-copy of the sequel to the Tea Dragon Society, which is awesome. So I'm probably going to read the graphic novel of that on my computer. And I think that's kind of my reading plans for the week. I might manage to fit in some other smaller things, but I would be happy if I managed to finish my physical book, this other audiobook, and this other graphic novel, and that would mean that I would have finished 5 books during the readathon, one of which I would have started before, so like read 4.5 books, which I would be happy with, but we'll see how the reading goes. Now I'm going to do some work with my afternoon. I really want some coffee, but I'm at the stage still in the numbing where I'll probably drool it over my face, so I'm going to hold off on that. But yeah, there's my update on life, the universe, and everything. How are you? Again, so you know how I said I might try and read something else short and fluffy on my Kindle perhaps. I did actually get another review copy from NetGalley of like what sounded like a cute fluffy fantasy romance called Kissed by Magic. I'm reading the title here. Book 1 in Passion and Promises by Erica Ridley, but it's only like 140 pages, and I managed to get through about half of it really quickly, and I'm done. I've given up on it. I just was not getting into it at all. Like, it just felt really all over the place in time scale. It's set in the future, but with magic, and then one of the main characters from medieval times, and they just kept saying "twas" and "twasn't," as if that makes for period language. And it was just, I don't know, it just felt very messy to me, so I ditched it, and I'm going to stick with what I know is a good book this evening now, and read my Naomi Kritzer, because I trust that book. Sally's on a fox hunt, aren't you, Sally? Is that where the fox comes in and out of the garden, in that hole? Yeah. It's not there, is it? Mm-mm. Me again. You're a terrible vlogger. I think I underestimated how busy I would be being in Edinburgh, sort of catching up with different people, so I've not vlogged as much as I would like to for the readathon, although I have been reading. If you saw from some of the clips I think I managed to grab for yesterday's vlog, which was just basically b-roll, I saw some friends from school, so like had a nice night out, did some work during the afternoon and filmed a video for my channel, so that's kind of what I got up to. But I also, the previous night, started a book called Honor Among Orcs, which I'll insert a picture of here, but it's kind of what I was looking for in what I said is I kind of just wanted like a fantasy romance to read alongside my other book I'm reading, which like I said I'm enjoying, but I just consume slowly because I think like it's quite complicated and there's quite a lot going on. So I'm still really enjoying Turning the Storm. Definitely past halfway, so hopefully we'll finish it during the readathon. And I'm now also reading Honor Among Orcs, which I think I'm about 30% of the way into, and it's just like a much quicker read, so I think I will finish that quicker. I started it because I thought it was a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, at least that's what it's listed on in Goodreads, but it's a very loose retelling of Beauty and the Beast. Not that I'm complaining, it's still like a fun fantasy romance, but it's a very, very loose, if you want to call it a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I really want to do a video soon on ranking all of the Beauty and the Beast retellings I've read, or reviewing all of the Beauty and the Beast retellings I've read, because I've read a lot. So I thought that could be a fun video, and I thought I could read some more before I did that, so that's why I picked this one up. And I'm enjoying it. It's just, yeah, like, basically this girl is the princess of this kingdom, but her father is like straight up evil and abusive, and she's also being abused, like there's a lot of abuse in it. Is also being abused by like a nobleman who her father has given her to. It's horrible, and she ends up finding out that he has an orc imprisoned in the castle, and she befriends this orc and frees him, and yeah, then they run away together, and then, you know, I don't know actually because I haven't finished it, but yeah, that's the like premise. And of course she's falling in love with the orc, which is like super cute. They're kind of exactly what each other needed, and it's really nice. So I'm just enjoying reading my wee fantasy romance, which is a genre that I'm a big fan of. But today I am actually going to meet Jill again so I can catch up with what she's been reading, and we are going to visit the new bookshop that's opened in Edinburgh in Portobello. So there's a new independent bookshop that's open in Edinburgh, and it's been a long time since a new independent bookshop's open in Edinburgh, and Portobello doesn't have any bookshops, so it's kind of awesome that it's there now, and it looks really cool. So we're gonna go there. Portobello is the seaside, it's where the beach is in Edinburgh, so we'll also probably have like a walk along the beach, maybe have some chips and ice cream, and that should be like a really fun day out. So I will kind of try and grab some footage whilst I'm out doing that, but that's also an update on my reading. Oh, actually, and also update on my reading is I'm almost finished Seer of Seven Waters. I'm so close to the end, so definitely going to finish that audiobook this week. Still, like I said, not my favourite Seven Waters book, but I am invested and want to know how it ends, and I'm looking forward to getting to that end. Now that I'm at the end, I feel more invested, yeah. But gonna go now, okay. We got some lunch and some iced coffees, and I forgot to vlog before last night. What did we win at the arcades, Jill?
We won a packet of Jazza, which only cost us collectively
like £3.
£3, and you maybe get about 10 sweeties.
We will enjoy those
every
sweeties.
Single one of our 5 each.
Are you happy?
So happy.
Jill, what have you been reading?
I have just finished Howl's Moving Castle by Diane Wynne Jones. Is that right?
Yeah.
How
did you say it? It's always me behind the camera confirming.
I know. I'm always looking at you like, is that right? You don't get it right. It's a children's book. It was good, but I wanted to like it more than I did because everyone's been raving about it to me, and it was just a bit. The plot was a bit garbled and a bit. There was too much thrown into it. Like, yeah, it was difficult to get to the tone of it, but. I suppose if I was a bit younger I would have enjoyed it more. I'm glad I read it.
And what are you going to read next?
I think I'm going to read Holly Black's The Cruel Prince, which I borrowed off someone. Because I have the sequel as well.
Yep.
So I can just read it.
Good plan. So it's the last day of the Readathon, and I think I might be done with my reading. It's not even late yet, it's afternoon. but my friend Jen, who I'm sure many of you are familiar with, is here for the book festival to do an event around her children's picture book, which is actually a fantasy book written by women, so link down below. And I'm off to meet her now. But because of that and the fact that Jen's staying with me, I don't think I'm really going to get any more reading done today. I did ask on Twitter though if any of you had read any books during the readathon that you would recommend, so I'm going to start popping some of those recommendations here on the screen whilst I'm talking. What I have managed to read is half of Seer of Seven Waters, which I've now finished on audiobook. Still not my favourite Seven Waters book, but I'll talk more about it in my wrap up and how I felt about it. Once I've read the 6th and final book in the series, I want to do like a whole video on it, but still one of the best series of all time, so take that for what you will. So that was half a book. I listened to the audiobook of Red Ropes of Fate, which was a romance between a human and an elf. Very cute, very Fantasy of Manners-esque. Enjoyed that. I read the graphic novel of the Tea Dragon Society, which was incredible. Loved it. That's a middle grade graphic novel. And then I have read half or more than half of Turning the Storm by Naomi Kritzer, the second in a queer fantasy duology that I love. I'm just reading slowly and savouring. Still loving it. Can't wait to see how it all ends up. And I've read half of Honour Among Orcs, which is another kind of romance this time between an orc and a human, and I'm enjoying that. I'm not finished it, but I'm enjoying it. Anyway, all in all, I've definitely read less than I did during the last Femme Fantail because I just didn't anticipate how busy I would be. I'm not disappointed. I still had a lot of fun. I'm also a little bit out of breath, but I had a lot of fun. I love just having like 8 days or so where I get to talk about female authored fantasy with all these other people on the internet and hear about what you guys are reading. So that's been so joyous in itself. I don't mind if I didn't read as much as last time. Next time, hopefully, it'll be more of a chill week, but I can't really complain because I've had a lovely time. And yeah, that's kind of how my readathon has gone. Let me know how you got on this week. What have you been reading? What female authored fantasy books do you love? And just generally, how are you?